Hello, everyone. I'm Josh McGehee from the STL United Soccer Show, and I'm pleased to be joined today by STLFC forward and joint top leading goal scorer on the club, Tyler Blackwood. Tyler, thank you so much for joining me today.
No worries. Thanks for having me on, Josh.
Well, it's so good to see you guys back out on the pitch. Obviously, there's been a long layoff. A lot of things have been going on. We'll get to that here in just a little bit, but I want to start with what has just happened recently. You guys have come back. League has opened back up. You guys started with the tough result versus Indy 11 in your first match, a 2-0 loss. But then this past weekend, you guys pull off something that no team in St. Louis FC history has ever done. You go to Louisville and you come away with 3 points. You scored the only goal in the match. Talk to me about that match. How were you guys able to come up with 3 points this time?
Yeah, I didn't actually know that stat that no one's done that, but I personally was confident going into the game. I just had a really good feeling about it. Not only as a team to get 3 points, but for me, I felt like I was going to score. It was frustrating first half, and really, I didn't really have anything to do the whole game except for that one chance that I gave the ball a lot. But I was in the right place at the right time to get the goal, and I think we're all just over the moon that we managed to get out of there with 3 points. And I think it's also given a bit of confidence to know that we can beat that team, and we shouldn't be scared of them.
And then Coach Steve Chichu actually gave credit to assistant coach Max Rogers for drawing up the routine that you guys did on the corner kick that led to that goal. Looking back on that goal, I mean, obviously, you know, in the moment, it's tough to gather your emotions. But when you look back on it and you think about, again, what it meant just for the match itself, you guys taking the lead against Louisville, but the fact that you guys were off for so long and everything going on in the world and finally getting back onto football, did you consider in that moment the emotions and the significance of that goal?
I knew it was a big goal because I always have some celebrations planned, but in that moment, I think I just started running because I just knew that I was excited with the goal because from a personal standpoint, I had nothing all game, so to get the opportunity and to finish it was a great moment. But I also knew that, man, this was the goal that I knew was coming, and I think we're going to win this game now.
Well, it was a huge 3 points, and we'll get to, again, the significance of it for the rest of the season a little bit. But I want to go all the way back to March. You guys come off the high, opening match of the season. You guys crushed Miami FC 4-1. You scored in that match coming off the bench. You're coming off this tremendous high, and all of a sudden, something that no one could have predicted would be the season being put on hold, being suspended due to the global pandemic. I just want to know, when the news first broke that the league was going to be suspended, coming off of this high, what were your initial reactions? How were you able to deal with that news?
I think I didn't really understand how big everything was at first because I was kind of sitting in the locker room talking to Kyle Gregg a lot, saying, is this actually going to happen? Are they actually going to shut our season down? Like, it felt quite surreal. But that's before I kind of looked into it a bit more and everyone got all the information. Then it was like, okay, this is a lot bigger than soccer. This is a lot bigger than me. So we have to do what's right. So it was obviously the right thing to do. It's just it wasn't nice being in a state of not knowing for so many months. But like I said, it was bigger than just us. The whole world was in that kind of state of mind as well, of not knowing what comes next. So I just have to take it each day as it comes.
So the difficult thing, as you guys are going through, it's months of time off, essentially, or at least away from games. And you have to do 2 things. You have to deal with the physical aspect of it, of keeping in shape, because you don't know when the season is coming back and when you guys are going to have to get back into matches. But also the mental aspect of it, of this is your guys' profession, this is your guys' love, and you're not able to go out there and to do it. And for months on end, not knowing, like you said, when the league was coming back. So how did you, during these off times, during the quarantine, how did you stay physically and mentally sharp during this process where you felt comfortable when you knew when the games would come back that you would be ready?
I can only speak for myself, really. I think everyone kind of had their own plans, and it was one of those things where people probably started out with a set plan in terms of fitness regime and kind of day-to-day what they're going to get done. But those things probably all got scrapped because no one knew if it was going to be 2 weeks or 2 months. And it ended being over 3, I think. So for me, I just, I've always been good. I have good genes in terms of regaining my fitness, not losing it very quickly, and things like that. So I wasn't too worried about, oh, I need to be running every day, because I've always been good with that. So I just honestly, I took time to just let my body rest, because I knew that when we start again, it's going to be the hottest part of the year, and we're going to have to play a lot of games in a short amount of time if we get to play. So I just took the time to rest and kind of just enjoyed my own company and tried to learn a bit about myself during the silence. And um, I feel by the time I went back to practice, I was ready to just go again, because I'd given myself that time off, and was comfortable and confident and ready to go.
So that kind of leads into my next question, actually. When you guys initially come back, there's all these rules in place about small-sided training sessions. It's not a full squad. You guys are in small groups.
Yeah.
There's so many other different precautions put in. Were you guys able, was there a sense of normalcy when you came back into training, that you guys were able to kind of push to the side all of these regulations, the fact that you weren't all the way together? Was the coaching staff good in helping you guys get acclimated to those precautions?
Yeah, the coaching staff and our head trainer Jake has been incredible in terms of making sure that all we have to do is turn up, and they give us our guidelines, and we get to do our job. They're taking care of. Jake's reading pages and pages of protocols, trying to make sure that we're doing everything right. And obviously, our team has tested negative every single test we've had. We're getting tested weekly at the moment. So for us, it's kind of, they're trying to make it as normal as possible for us to just come in and do our job. And they've all been great in accommodating that. And when we're out there, when training starts, it just felt normal, you know. Once training started, it just felt normal again, which was really nice and really comforting after being away for so many months, to have that sense of normality back just for like the hour and a half in the day. Was really nice. And now obviously we have it back daily, which is even better.
So in those training sessions, again, when you first meet up back with the guys, it seems like were you able just to reconnect immediately and build that team chemistry back up? Because again, in the off season, there was a lot of new players that came into the team. So obviously now with the winning result last week, we've seen that chemistry at full tilt. But getting back into training, was it just like picking things right back up?
No, it definitely wasn't. Simply because not everyone was back at the same time. We had some people that went back to see family, and then obviously there was travel bans and things like that. So the whole team wasn't there, and also we weren't able to train in larger groups at the start. So it still took some time to kind of get the rhythm going. And I think um, the fact that we weren't able to get any preseason games in kind of affected us going into the season. But now I feel like we've got the wheels turning a bit. Yeah.
So getting into my next question here would be a conversation that we previously had. You've talked about how your mentality towards your job, basically you look at this as your profession, that you love playing soccer, of course, but also it's your job, it's what you're paid to do, and to go out there and do it. Obviously, with the pandemic, we've seen not just across our country, but countries as a whole, people, having to deal with it themselves and in their professions as well. I just wondering, during this off time, and now that you're back doing your job, has this time off kind of changed your perception of your mentality, of how you look at your profession and how you're able to do it, and just the connections and things like that you have with your teammates, and also just from the professional standpoint of how you're able to do your job?
I wouldn't say it's changed my perception, because I still see it as this is what I get paid to do at the moment, you know. So it's still my job that I show up to do, and I give 100% every single day. However, it increased the appreciation I had for that job. I've always appreciated it. I know I'm lucky to kick a ball around and someone pay me. So it just really elevated that appreciation, because the time off, you really kind of lose that sense of identity a bit, because you're not doing anything. And I love doing nothing, but for 3 months, it gets a bit much. So to be back and just amongst your teammates and kind of having that banter and just you're just playing with your boys, like it's such a good feeling. It just really raised that appreciation for my job, for sure.
So I want to take a quick detour away from soccer for just a moment, because during the pandemic, as if the pandemic wasn't bad enough, we had, of course, a series of instances, especially in our country here, of racial injustice. We had the George Floyd situation. We've seen the protests in response to that. And also, of course, the main thing being here in sports is the response by athletes, not just here, but in other countries. In England, for example, of examples of unity between teammates, coaches, organizations, and things like that, and the response to these injustices. I didn't know if you had a specific perception or thoughts on that situation, how people have reacted to it, conversations with teammates that you've had that you would like to share about the ongoing situation. Just overall, what have your thoughts been on what's been going on in our country?
Yeah, this is my 10th year in the States, and I can't say that there's been a 1 year where I've not just been completely saddened about something happening in this country like those events. Um, However, this year, I'm glad at least it's getting the eyes that it deserves, because this isn't something new. But thankfully, if George Floyd's life can leave anything, it's that he really his death created change because across the world, you know. Um, I'm also very thankful for the USL for allowing us to decide to kneel, to wear our BLM armbands, and any kind of change we can make, any voice we have to use it right now, because the world is listening. So um, I'm saddened for the events, but I'm glad to see that people are really attempting to make a change.
Does this encourage you? Because again, you started your career in England, and obviously they have their own problems over there with this. And then coming over here to the States, like you said, this is your 10th year here. Have you seen personally improvement, or are you hoping at least in this current time with these protests and again, as you said, more eyes on what's going on, that you hope to see even more so a gradual increase in improvement?
Yeah, I think it's always going to be improving. This where I'm from in London is a melting pot, and me myself, I'm mixed race, and I grew up with a lot of biracial people. So just having that kind of understanding and having that melting pot, it helps people that are growing up with it understand that it's not anything different. So here there's just a lot of ignorance still, but I feel like year by year it improves. I think we just, like I said, just keep shining the light, and um, eventually things will get better.
So pivot back to soccer and in the present time here. Obviously, you guys had expectations coming in the season of making playoffs and challenging for the championship. I still have to imagine that those expectations are the same. But now, instead of a elongated schedule, it's been shrunk to 16 games now, which would be 13 matches for you guys. And now also, instead of playing a variety of opponents, you're going to be seeing a few teams very much so. In fact, obviously, you're playing Indy 11 again this Sunday, someone you've already recently seen in the past couple of weeks. Do those different changes to the format and the schedule, with those changes, what kind of different challenges come with having to face opponents more frequently, and also the shortened schedule and maybe shortened rest, or just the change in format?
Yeah, I think one thing the USL has done well with the scheduling is that the games are basically the same in terms of once a week, and then we'll have a few Saturday, Wednesday games. But so the demand on the body isn't exactly going to be double. However, just maintaining that focus when you're playing against the same team 4 times. Each game is new. Each game is another chance of 3 points. Then we have the added thing of watching other games and hoping they steal points off people in our league. But at the end of the day, if you can't sit and worry about that. All we can worry about is Sunday right now for us. That is our next opportunity for 3 points. So that's what we're doing. We've changed some things around for Indy. Now's the time we can go for it. We have nothing to lose. This season, a lot of people wrote it off already. So we have nothing to lose, and I think we've got a really good chance.
So Indy 11 on Sunday, the guys, they beat you 2-0 in the opening match. You guys were on the road. Now you guys will be at home. You've seen them in person. You've seen them a few times on TV. What are some of the adjustments that you guys feel like you need to make in order to come out with 3 points this time around?
Yeah, the coaching staff have already seen where we can improve tactically. So there's definitely be a tactical change, but we also now I think it's more about us rather than them, because we have that confidence now. We have 3 games of fitness in us. We have the time we spent together now. under our belts, and I feel like we're starting a little roll here. So we have the confidence and a little tactical change that I think is going to make Sunday a good one for us.
So first home match back since the pandemic, first home match since that March win. There are going to be fans in the stands, albeit just a 25%. So the stadium will still be mostly empty. Obviously, it's going to be good to be back, just playing at home routine, seeing some familiar faces. But overall, what are you at least hoping from the atmosphere on Sunday in terms of providing the lift to you guys, and also just this sense of, normality and being at home and hopefully pushing you guys towards 3 points?
The home advantage, it plays a big role, whether people think it or not. Just being there and just feeling the energy of the crowd, whether it's 5 people or 5,000. When you have a group of people cheering for you, it's only can be a positive thing, So I'm looking forward to finally being in that environment again. I just hope everyone that comes out, if they have any symptoms, they decide against it. If they do decide to come, still wear a mask and socially distance. Just to keep us all safe, because we can still enjoy a good game, socially distance, and bring some sunscreen, because it's going to be a hot one as well.
Exactly. So hoping people will come out, but again, follow the precautions, because you guys are being put through the ringer with the precautions the least fans can do to do the little bit of things that are asked of us. So looking forward to seeing you guys back at the soccer park this Sunday, 4:00 versus Indy 11. Tyler, thank you so much for joining me today. Looking forward to seeing you once again out there on the field on Sunday.
Thank you, Josh. I appreciate it, man. See you there.